Hello everyone, welcome back to my GH Spoiler channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. ABC General Hospital full recap, March 9th, 2026. Chase and Brooke Lynn finally adopt Delilah's baby, and nobody saw this twist coming. Monday's episode of General Hospital delivered the kind of emotional gut punch that fans have been waiting months for, and the fallout is going to shake Port Charles to its very core. Grab your tissues, GH fans, because Monday's episode was nothing short of a masterpiece of emotional chaos. From the tear-soaked halls of General Hospital's maternity ward to a last-minute legal bombshell that nearly derailed everything, March 9th, 2026 will go down as one of the most unforgettable episodes in recent memory. Let's break down every single jaw-dropping moment. Ring, Chase, and Brooke Lynn get the call they've been waiting for. The episode opens on Harrison Chase, Josh Swickcard, pacing the living room of the Quartermaine guest house like a caged animal. His phone sits face up on the coffee table, and every time it buzzes, a text from Dante, a spam call, a weather alert, he practically launches out of his skin. Brooke Lynn Quartermaine, Amanda Seton, is perched on the edge of the sofa pretending to read a magazine she hasn't turned a page of in 45 minutes. Then the call. Brooke Lynn snatches the phone before the second ring even completes. Attorney Diane Miller is on the other end, and the moment Diane says the words, "The paperwork has been signed," Brooke Lynn's face completely crumbles. She presses her free hand over her mouth and lets out the kind of sob that makes your own chest ache. Chase is across the room in 2 seconds flat, wrapping both arms around her from behind, trying to listen in, tears already streaming silently down his jaw. It's official. The adoption of baby Delilah is moving forward. The scene is wordless for nearly a full 30 seconds after the call ends, just Chase and Brooke Lynn clinging to each other, while the afternoon light pours through the window. No dialogue needed. It's pure, devastating, beautiful television. Legal bombshell almost destroys everything. Just when viewers were ready to reach for the happy tears, the show yanked the rug out entirely. A frantic Diane Miller arrives at the courthouse in the next scene, only to discover that someone has filed a last-minute petition to contest the adoption. The mystery filer? A previously unnamed relative of baby Delilah's biological father, a man named Troy Whitfield, who apparently had family Port Charles didn't even know about. Diane is visibly furious. She gets on the phone immediately, warning Chase and Brooke Lynn not to come to the courthouse yet. "Not until I know what we're dealing with," she snaps, already striding down the marble corridor in her killer heels, like a woman who has absolutely not lost a case in her entire career. Back at the Quartermaine estate, Olivia Quartermaine sits with a white-knuckled Brooke Lynn while Chase fields phone calls. The scene between Olivia and Brooke Lynn is one of Amanda Seton's finest performances in years. When Brooke Lynn whispers, "What if they take her from us before we even get to hold her properly?" fans across America collectively screamed at their screens. Delilah's biological mother makes a stunning move. Here's where things got truly wild. Delilah's biological mother, the sweet but deeply complicated Sienna, makes a surprise appearance at the courthouse. Played with quiet devastation by the show's newest recurring player, Sienna had already signed her relinquishment papers weeks ago, but she came back today not to reclaim her daughter, but to personally testify on Chase and Brooke Lynn's behalf. Standing before the judge, voice barely above a whisper, Sienna describes the first time she saw the way Brooke Lynn looked at Delilah, like she had been waiting her whole life for exactly that moment. She says Chase showed up to every single prenatal appointment she'd let him attend, sat in the waiting room with a coffee and a playlist of lullabies he'd been building for months. She tells the court that these are the parents Delilah deserves, and that no distant relative with dollar signs in their eyes is going to get in the way of that. The courtroom is dead silent when she finishes. Diane, composed as ever, submits Sienna's testimony as evidence and systematically dismantles the contesting relative's claim in under 7 minutes. The judge doesn't even need to recess. The adoption is granted. Cut to General Hospital's maternity suite. Chase and Brooke Lynn arrive together, hand in hand, dressed casually, no fanfare, no entourage, just the two of them walking into a room where a nurse places a small, sleeping baby girl into Brooke Lynn's arms. What happens next is 4 minutes of unscripted feeling magic. Chase leans in close, one hand cradling the baby's head, the other around Brooke Lynn's shoulders. He says something too quiet for the microphone to catch, clearly a private moment the writers intentionally kept between the characters, and Brooke Lynn laughs and cries at the same time in that messy, real way that no actor can fully fake. The camera slowly pulls back, the scene fades. Welcome to the world, Delilah Quartermaine Chase. Port Charles will never be the same. But the episode doesn't end there. Trouble is already brewing. In the episode's final minutes, the mood shifts dramatically. A mysterious figure is seen parked outside General Hospital in a black sedan, watching the building. When their phone buzzes, we catch a single line of the text on screen before the camera cuts away. It's done. They have the baby. Move to Phase 2. Who is orchestrating something sinister around this newly formed family? And what on earth is Phase 2? Fans on social media are already losing their minds with theories, with many pointing to the returning shadow of Valentine Cassadine, James Patrick Stewart, who has been conspicuously absent from Port Charles for the last 3 weeks. Also in Port Charles today, the Chase-Brooke Lynn adoption storyline dominated the hour, but a few other threads kept the plot simmering. Alex Davis, Nancy Lee Gran, received a cryptic file at the Invader that appears to connect a Cassadine shell company to Deception's latest financial troubles. Meanwhile, Carly Kreiser, Laura Wright, had a tense, loaded conversation with someone off-screen, only their shoes visible, that the show is clearly saving for a massive reveal later this week. And Ava Jerome, Maura West, returned from her extended trip to New York, looking like a woman who has seen things she desperately wishes she hadn't.